Inexpensive action cameras like the ODRVM action camera are a great way to capture family fun, extreme sports, hiking or biking, and feed your creative filmmaker cravings. Let's take a look. The ODRVM branded action camera is one of many on the market right now. It has the same form factor as most of them, which matches the much more expensive GoPro within a millimeter or two. That means that in most cases, third-party accessory kits that include chest mounts, suction cup mounts, multiple adhesive mounting plates, pillars, and rotators will also work with this little camera. I also need to mention that the distributor provided me this camera for review without cost, but you're still getting my honest opinion. Out of the box, the camera includes the camera, waterproof exterior case, mounting straps, and a couple of mounting plates. We'll take a look at those in just a minute. The camera records at full HD, often seen as 720p or 1080p. These numbers refer to the number of horizontal lines in the image, so 1080p has more resolution than 720p, although they are both considered HD. The camera has a large number of settings you can change depending on the environment. In normal outdoor use on a sunny day, the automatic settings will be just fine. However, on cloudy days or when hiking or biking in the woods, you'll need to want to adjust the settings to increase the camera's light sensitivity and make sure the white balance is correct. The fact that you can adjust these settings is a testament to the power packed into these little inexpensive devices. Let's take a quick look at what's happening in the camera itself. Conceptually, the image is captured using three components: the lens, the image sensor, and the image processor. It's then sent to the camera's memory. Action cameras use fixed focus lenses. They provide reasonable focus for the entire image from a distance of about 8 to 12 inches from the camera to infinity. They also use a wide-angle lens. In this case, it is a 170-degree wide-angle lens. This allows you to capture a very wide shot, but you'll notice the curving of straight lines, especially near the edges of the photo. This is similar to what happens with a fisheye lens, which is a very wide-angle lens. Some photo editing software will allow you to straighten things in photos. There are also some tools to help with this in videos too. The image sensor collects the lights from the lens. This is the part of the camera labeled in megapixels. The ODRVM has a 12-megapixel sensor. Sensors are covered with microscopic photosites that collect photons of light. Photosites are covered with a specific pattern of red, green, blue, and no filters to translate the photons into colors. More photons collected in a photosite during an exposure equals a brighter pixel. The job of translating the electrical intensity of these photosites belongs to the image processor. It does the computing to turn electrical signals from the sensor into images. It then moves them to the camera's memory. For most of these small cameras, including this one, that means an SD card. To get smooth video, the camera needs a sensitive sensor and a powerful image processor. It also needs a fast SD card to accept the images. You'll need at least a Class 10 SD card or one labeled UHS-1 or UHS-2 to make sure there isn't a data traffic jam on the electronic highway to your camera's memory card. Slowdowns here cause video dropouts in your video file as the camera doesn't have the capacity to buffer data backlogs, so get a good SD card. With the right settings and good lighting, the ODRVM action camera does a good job capturing video. If you take the couple of seconds it takes to assess your surroundings and change settings for the lower light conditions and white balance, you'll end up with great video. It's a good practice to reset the camera to the auto settings when you're done, so you don't end up shooting on a really bright day with shade settings and increased exposure compensation set in the camera and blowing out the images. Let's take a closer look at the camera and briefly work through the settings. As you'll see, there are a number of variables you'll be able to select to accomplish whatever specific need you may have. Just a quick overview of what you're going to find on the camera. The upper right is the lens on-off power switch here. On the upper left, it also is a mode switch when you are changing modes within the camera. I'll show you that in just a minute. Opening here for a speaker. On this side, there are up and down buttons that allow you to move the selections up and down in the menus. And by pressing the up button by itself, you can turn on the Wi-Fi mode of this camera. On the other side is a micro HDMI and a micro USB output. Use the USB cord to access the files on the SD card via your computer and to charge the camera, and a slot here for the SD card itself. Again, you want to use a high quality SD card, class 10, UHS-1 or UHS-2 to have enough speed to capture video. On the bottom of the box, you'll find a little switch that opens up the battery door, which allows you to insert the battery here in the space on the bottom. On the top is a little button labeled OK. That is the select button if you're in the menus, and it is the shutter release if you're taking videos or photos. To turn the camera on, we're just going to press and hold the on-off switch on the front. You can see that it comes up. Now we can work our way through the modes. This mode is 1080p video mode, which is what I have it selected. Pressing the mode again moves it to the photo mode. I have 8 megapixels selected. There it goes up to 12. Here we'll show you the files that are on the SD card using the up and down button to scroll through the files. And then the setup menu, which gives you quite a number of things to adjust. You can select the resolution. If you select the item, click OK at the top, it gives you the resolution choices. Pick OK to pick the one and you return to the menu, and then work your way, whether you want the TV output on-screen display mode on or off, time-lapse recording, 1, 2, 5, 10-second intervals, what the capture mode is going to be, in this case 3-second, 5-second, or 10-second timer. That allows you to take a still picture every 3, 5, or 10 seconds with the camera pointing at whatever you're shooting, which gives you a really neat way to get some single shots of some of the action that you're taking. See motion detection on or off, turn the audio on or off, the microphone basically. Turn on date stamping. Generally, I don't like to turn on date stamping. It mars the image in my opinion. You can pick the image size for your photos. Like I told you, I have this one set at 8. The quality, normal and fine. White balance gives you choice of cloudy or shade or tungsten, the usual that you see in these small cameras. The ISO gives you a chance to talk about the speed of the collection of the light. So whether it's 100, 200, 400, there's some exposure compensation which you can use to add brightness or reduce brightness by 1/3 of a stop, up and down, for a total of 6 different choices. Turning the anti-shake on or off, the language you want to use, the date and time, whether you want the power to go off automatically, beeps, TV mode meaning NTSC or PAL, and then if you want the screensaver to go on. So there's quite a lot of things that you can adjust here in this particular camera. For a more detailed explanation of the impact of these various settings, consider getting my book, The Action Camera Handbook, available on Amazon.com. Written specifically for these little inexpensive cameras, the book will explain what the settings mean and what they do. The specific titles and the menu systems might be slightly different, but the explanations still apply, regardless of brand. Let's take a look at some ideas of how you might want to use this nice little action camera, along with samples of the videos and photos so that you can assess the quality you can expect. I'll be recording in 1080p to a UHS-1 SD card. I edited using Pinnacle Studio 20 Ultimate, but CyberLink's Power Director or Sony Vegas will produce similar results for the Windows machines. There are some free editors out there too. Before we can do any of the fun stuff with an action camera, we need some accessories. The ODRVM Action Camera comes with a nice set of accessories to help you get started. Let's take a closer look. So when you get the camera, it's going to come in this nice black nylon case filled with foam inserts, and when you get in there, you're going to find that there's a lot of stuff. Camera mounted here, and you can fit a lot in there. So it's a really nice, firm case for you to carry your camera around in. Let's take a look at what's in it. First, of course, is the camera itself. It's just a little small box, about the same size as most of the cameras in this genre or this form factor. Get a second battery, which is really handy to have with you, and so it comes with 2 batteries. The camera comes mounted in the waterproof case. It's good down to 30 meters, so about 90 feet if you're a diver. The case just simply closes, latches from the back, and then snaps down to provide good protection for the camera. You get an alternate back to the case as well. Sometimes you hear people talk about being a spare back, but it's really not a spare back because this one has got openings here in the side to let sound in for the microphone on the camera. So this back would be used in a situation where you wanted the protection of the hard plastic case, but you weren't concerned about it being waterproof. So out on a dusty trail, hiking, climbing a hill or a rock face, that kind of thing, you might want to use this alternate back face to that hard shell case. There are a number of connectors that come with the camera. We've got what's basically known as a J-hook that slides into the connector like that. We've got these mounting plates which allow you to use either the adhesive or a Velcro strap to mount these to, say, the front of a skateboard or snowboard, or to the top of your bicycle or motorcycle helmet. And then these other connectors would fit on top of that. This is kind of an extender, and it allows you to raise the camera up, and so there's a couple of those that come in the package. You see, one of them is basically connected here to the bottom of the camera hard case. This particular one is a rotator. You notice that the openings for the hinge pieces that come in here are opposite to the piece here. So you can mount these in series, allowing you to change the direction in which the camera can rotate to give you the perfect angle to achieve the effect that you're going for. This little tap with a 4x20 screw you can use to mount to the top of a tripod using anything using a 4x20. You can also fit it in the bottom of what I call the snap case, which is a real handy piece. That allows you to put the camera in the case without the big hard case, making it a little smaller, and then you can screw the screw into the bottom and then mount it into one of these other either rotators or extenders to meet the particular need that you have. You also can use this with a little clip or a hat clip, a kind of connector, which is really pretty handy. It just slides into the back of this snap case, And it allows you to, for example, use this little alligator clip to put your camera on the a backpack strap, a chest strap of your pack, on the bill of your hat to follow you around whichever way you turn your head. So this has got a couple of really handy applications as well. So the little snap case and the clip for the snap case, which allows you to clip it to clothing. The other major accessory that comes with the kit is a handy bicycle mount. In the videos that we'll look at in a minute, you'll see this in action. It's simply unscrew these pegs, mount a handlebar or maybe one of the vertical struts of your bicycle through this this opening, tighten it down, and then you can mount using this typical 3-plate hinge plate to either add extensions or just place the camera on directly to mount it to your bicycle. Making up the rest of the accessories are a couple of spare foam double-sided adhesive plate tapes for the various mounting plates that we looked at earlier, as well as a metal tether that you could tie the camera by looping this through the camera or looping it through the mount. So if you're doing something particularly violent and the mount happens to become dislodged, you can keep control of the camera with a little wire tether, and then of course just a camera lens cleaning cloth. And so this really is a pretty comprehensive set of accessories for a very inexpensively priced camera. In this shot, we'll use a suction cup mount to a vehicle to get some road trip B-roll. The suction cup mount was purchased separately. In this shot, we'll point the camera inside the car to capture the occupants as with some family road trip. To improve audio quality, consider using a digital audio recorder such as a Zoom H1 or Tascam DR05. If you've ever watched American Pickers or Counting Cars, you notice that a lot of times they've got cameras in the cabs of the cars, and with this little action cam you can do the same thing. With the suction cup mount that doesn't come included with the accessories, but that is widely available on Amazon.com. You can mount the camera to the windscreen, have it point to you or any of the other people in your car. In this shot, we'll use the bike mount that comes with the camera for some shots around the park. We've mounted the camera to the handlebars. In this case, we've changed the point of view and have mounted the camera atop the rider's bike helmet. We used the flat mounting plate and secured it to the helmet with Velcro straps for this demo. Here are a couple of still shots taken with the ODRVM Action Cam. The camera has 12 megapixel sensor. I had the camera set to 8 megapixels for these shots. Base your setting choice on how you plan to use the resulting image. Think large megapixels for large prints. Also, note the curves on the straight lines near the edges. That's the fisheye effect. All small action cameras have this. Here's a side-by-side comparison of fisheye effect removal done with Corel Paint Shop Pro. As you can see, the quality of this little action camera is pretty nice. In fact, the video is really nice, especially when one realizes it's coming from a camera that costs less than $60. With third-party accessory kits with things like suction mounts, selfie sticks, chest and dog mounts, you're only limited by your own creativity on the views and perspectives you can achieve. There are some fairly inexpensive action cameras out there claiming 4K resolution. Right now, that's probably not a big advantage for most people. Since you likely don't have a 4K TV or even a 4K computer monitor, the additional resolution is not too important. With a great price and excellent video quality at 1080p, my guess is you'll be happy with this little action camera from ODRVM. Also, with the low price of these cameras, you'll be tempted to get a couple of them to record multiple perspectives of the same action and blend them together in your favorite video editing software. Kids can have hours of fun, and aspiring film directors can do some really impressive work with a couple of these along with their smartphone's video recording capability. And I haven't even mentioned extreme sports. The options are nearly endless. To help you get the most from your action camera, whether this fine little gem or some other one, please consider getting my book called The Action Camera Handbook. It's available on Amazon.com in either paperback or Kindle editions. It goes into more detail than I have here and even discusses gimbals, drones, and video editing tools and techniques. I've also included a link to a couple of Amazon product pages for this camera in the description below, along with a link to a nice expanded accessory kit and my book. As always, if you found this information helpful, please click the thumbs up button for this video. Also, please click the subscribe button to be notified when I post